bands and albums came out in 2000.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everyone? Ryan Arnold, aka Demon Master Reviews here, and back with the 13th episode of the Damaged Incorporated show. Obviously, Ryan Arnold, aka Demon Master Reviews. We are joined by, to what I'm seeing on my right, we got Mean Metal Mike. We got below him, we got J-Dub, aka Metal Connection, and below me, we got Clint Cthulhu. And today the topic is, and this is one that J-Dub brought up, albums released from the year 2000. Now, brief glimpse of that year. Obviously, this was when the whole new metal movement was around, and metal was trying to come back into the mainstream. And a lot of bands, well, a good chunk of the bands that I got on here made debuts and stuff. So we're going to be mentioning, going in random order of albums that came out that year. So I figured I would start with one album that I have on the top of my pile of CDs that I have. Unfortunately, no vinyl or cassette. And I don't have them in the cases, but they came out that year, and that is the fifth album, respectively, from the band Ayreon, Universal Migrator Part 1 and Part 2. Obviously, a concept album about, I think, somebody by the name of Ayreon or something, some guy or something, I forgot the character's name, but it had a lot of guests. The first one is more on the prog rock, while the other one is the metal one, and I personally prefer the metal one because you got a lot of great. I mean, Part 1 has some good names on there. I believe you have Neil Morse, who I'll get to later, or maybe someone will get to them later. But obviously, Part 2 is the one that I usually gravitate towards. You had Russell Allen and Michael Romeo from Symphony X, and they put out something that same year. You have Ralph Sheeper from Primal Fear. He does a track. He kind of sounds like a Judas Priest or Rob Halford type of vocalist. But the big one, you even have Andy Durst from Halloween, and you have Fabio Leone from Rhapsody/Rhapsody of Fire. But the big one, and we'll get to him rejoining the band later, Bruce Dickinson is on this one. He sings Into the Black Hole, and that song is, I love it. But yeah, obviously, Ayreon, Universal Migrator 1 and 2, fantastic album. And we got Karen in the chat. What's up, Karen? Who would like to chime in on this? Who would like to chime in on this album? Okay, Mike. No. Okay, J-Dub. Anybody?
I was going to say, he's muted right now. Anyway, I was going to say, I've actually never heard Ayreon in my life. Is that like power type? It would be a power metal, right? Or...
Prog rock, some power, but prog rock, prog metal sometimes.
Yeah, it's an interesting album. I've never listened to it either. Definitely sounds like it'd be a really good listen.
Oh, it is. It definitely really is.
I'm gonna on disc too.
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. Who, might I add, he just rejoined them that same year with we'll get to the other album. Or unless J-Dub wants to mention it here. I'm picking J-Dub here. J-Dub, go on ahead. You got an album you want to talk about.
Let's do the biggest metal band of all time, I think in terms of sales or something, or maybe second, but Iron Maiden did, Brave New World came out in 2000, so you were just going to bring that up, so let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way, yeah. Unfortunately, mine doesn't have the CD in the case. The case broke at some point, so I need to get another copy, but yeah. So, yeah.
That's what actually. And I really fell in love with this CD actually after it came out when they put out their live Rock and Rio DVD.
Yeah.
The Iron Maiden Rock and Rio DVD that came out I think the year after, or
2002, 2001, 2002. Yeah.
And at the time, I had a roommate that was obsessed with Iron Maiden, and he would put on that Rock and Rio DVD, goddamn, every 2-3 nights a week. And I found myself, I'd go in his room and I'd start watching it, and I started knowing all these songs that were on the Brave New World album, like Blood Brothers, The Mercenary, What else was on there? Brave New World on there. The Wicker Man.
We got the title. Yeah, the Wicker Man. It goes to the Navigator. The Thin Line Between Love and Hate, which was the first ever Iron Maiden song I ever listened to.
Excellent song.
That'd be cool because they played a lot of those songs in that Rock and Rio DVD, and I would go into my roommate's room, and we were drinking and smoking and all that shit back then. So I'd just end up chilling in his room watching this Iron Maiden DVD, and I was never a huge Iron Maiden fan until I kind of just kept watching that Iron Maiden DVD over and over. I'm like, okay, I know all these songs now.
Yeah. Mike, do you want to say something?
Yeah. Well, funny story is, I don't have the album, but the only track I know of, there's only like 3 tracks I know of that album is Brave New World. The Wicker Man just slaps.
Mm-hmm.
I love Litnica. There's a thing where there's a weird guitar tempo, doo 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 doo, and Nico is just doing some very fast single pedal thing on the kick drum, which is really cool on that track. And then The Mercenary is just another beautiful song. I think it's a beautiful song off that album. I think that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's one of the shorter ones on this album, so yeah, definitely.
My favorite track on it is A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. That track is just beautifully lyrically written, musically. God, that song is just amazing.
Yeah, that's the first Iron Maiden song I ever heard. Like, legitimately, like, one that I actually liked and started liking them after that and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is the album that got me into, like, listening to them, too. Like, I never really listened to them before that, I didn't know anybody that listened to them, and I just happened to find that CD, like, in 2002 or 2003. Just happened to be at a pawn shop and bought it super cheap. And because the guy was like, I was looking at some other CDs. He's like, "You like Iron Maiden? I have some stuff," because I was getting like some crap. I was getting Vince Neil's solo album, some other stuff I was getting. King Diamond, and like the guy was like, "Dude, I have this too." In the back, I was gonna put out some other CDs, and he was like, "Dude, if you buy them all, I'll give them to you for like 50 cents to $1 a CD."
Nice.
So I was like,
Mike.
"Okay, I'll take it."
Yeah, sorry,
Mike.
sorry. I was just looking the background of J Dub, and I see that Razor album up there. That's piqued my interest.
Oh, the Raven?
Yeah. Nice.
Razor.
All right. Well, Clint, what album you want to show them? We can all discuss.
Okay, this is gonna end up turning into a meme because I'm a big fan in almost every video I'm in. I'm gonna mention Clayman by In Flames.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got that here somewhere. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I got it on my list. Yeah.
Incredible album. That's the kind of sound of In Flames I absolutely love. It's that kind of mid-range, kind of like sound they went when they weren't straight up just melodic death metal. They were kind of experimenting with some other sounds, and that just in that era of In Flames is like my favorite. Is that a soundtrack to Your Own Escape? Cloud can just amazing. Reroute and Remain, Come Clarity, which is my favorite, but yeah, just that era of In Flames. Mwah. They're my favorite band, so just that album is like Pinball Mat, Trigger, just that album just got so many hits.
The title track, Only for the Weak. Woo!
Yeah. That album, it still gives you chills. And they just had the anniversary of it, so.
Yeah, they kind of butchered it. Yeah, they butchered it, though, but yeah, they did they butchered a few of those songs. The title track being one of them. Like, why does it sound so thin? Why?
They just needed to re-release it, is what I think. But it is what it is. It's getting more exposure, getting more people in room. So, and they only did like 4 tracks from it. They remade.
Yeah, they only re-recorded 4 of them. Could you imagine if they just re-recorded all of them? That would just been like, yeah, no.
Yeah, like I mean, I bought the remake too, but I only paid like I got it and I got an extra copy of Gun Clarity for $5.50. So what can you can't beat that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, Mike, you want to go?
I still like calling you way more though.
Yeah.
All right, well here's mine. I'm going to go into a power metal band. Halloween came out with an album in 2000, The Dark Ride.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
With Andy Durst on vocals.
Yeah,
Michael
he was on. Yeah, I
gonna
mentioned
butcher
he's
his
on
name.
this.
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher these names, by the way. So, Michael
Yeah.
Weedcalf on guitar, Roland Gropo on guitar, Marcus Grosskopf on bass, and Uli Kushk on drums. You know, yeah,
Yeah,
if
that
you
was
have
the
your
first.
track
I'm
list.
assuming that.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, first with Andy Durst, and he was on the Arion album.
Yeah. But you have 45-second track Beyond the Portal, Mr. Torture, which was written by the drummer. You have All Over the Nations, Escalation 666, kicks ass. Mirror Mirror, If I Could Fly, Salvation, The Departed, I Live for Your Pain, Immortal, Dark Ride, and there's a bonus Japanese edition of the CD that comes with the song called The Madness of the Crowds. There's a special edition that has 3 more bonus tracks: The Madness of the Crowds, Deliver Us from Temptation, and a single edit, If I Could Fly.
Any of y'all? I know I don't, but J-Dub or Clint, y'all have that album?
I don't have it, so no word.
Fair enough.
Obviously, I love the Andy Darris era. I actually that's my favorite era of Halloween is when Andy Darris came on board. I love all the Andy Darris albums. So yeah, that's definitely a good one. And yeah, it's heavy. It's good. I'd say it's your standard Halloween album. Modern Halloween album.
I think it's also a forgotten album from Halloween discography. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime when people talk about Halloween, they just talk about the old Halloweens, and then they don't mention, it's like, oh, my favorite Halloweens are always Keeper of the Keys Part 1 and 2, or the first one, or people always seem to talk about the old '80s ones, but I actually prefer the Andy Darris ones from the 2000s and up.
Yeah, because this was the label for this was Nuclear Blast for this album.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Ryan.
Alrighty. I'll get back to me, and I don't want to pick an obvious one until maybe later, but I do want to bring up this one here as I'm holding the case for it. A Perfect Circle, Denom's their debut album project of Billy Howardell and Maynard James Keenan from Tool. I believe Billy was the guitar tech, I believe, for Tool, and I think they just said, let's start a band. This finally is kind of like, in some cases, Tool, just more in an alternative direction than, say, what Tool is known for. So you got songs on there that are relatively short. Songs I love. I love The Hollow. I love Judith. I love Orestes. There's just some great stuff on here. And I bought this at a library for $1 and stuff. And I was like, hell yeah, it's freaking A Perfect Circle. I need to get an album with them. And just saw that, I'm like, hell fucking yeah. But yeah, alternative Tool, an alternative version of Tool, basically. Just, still some of that craziness and stuff like that, but not as, yes?
Hey, I'm going to get going. I have family calling me.
Okay, Mike.
I probably won't be back for the rest of the stream, but I might say hi in the chat, so. right. Catch you
Okay,
later.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, he can come back.
Alrighty. Yeah, he could come back. You know, he has the link. So, but yeah, freaking, I believe this was released on, Virgin. Of all labels, Virgin released this, which is surprising to me because they, it's completely on a different label than what, Maynard is used to, because they're here with Toll. It's on either, that Toll Dissection or Volcano or something like that. But pretty interesting that it's on a major label like Virgin at the time. But yeah, alternative metal version of Tool. Yeah, freaking love this album. Jada, here.
Oh, it's too bad. I was going to bring this up while Mike was still here because I know he's a big AC/DC fan, so we got Stiff Upper Lip.
Stiff Upper Lip, yeah.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, some people don't like this album. I have no idea why. I absolutely love this album. This would probably be in my, I don't know about top 5, it'd probably be in my top 10 AC/DCs, that's for sure.
I probably would say the same. It's nothing, that special compared to albums like maybe say previous to that, Razor's Edge, For Those About to Rock, Back in Black, Dirty D, Highway to Hell, all those stuff. You know what you're getting with AC/DC, pretty much.
I love this because it has like this really cool laid back kind of bluesy type, like blues, hard rock thing going on, kind of vibes throughout the whole album. I actually love this whole album. What's really cool is there's a song, track number 5, Safe in New York City. It's quite ironic as it came out right before the 2001 Twin Towers thing. Safe in New York City.
Wow.
There's just kind of yeah. It's like, I feel safe in New York City. Oh, do you? 6 months later. But yeah, I love this album. This album's great. Meltdown, Stiff Upper Lip, Can't Stop Rock and Roll, Safe in New York City, Satellite Blues, I'll Be Damned, Come and Get It.
Yeah, we were just about
Stiff Upper Lip.
Yeah, I know you're an AC/DC fan. I'm glad you're back because we just showed that.
Oh yeah, well, I got something to say about it. Love that.
Yeah, no, I love this album. I love the laid back kind of blues inspired type kind of riffs and music.
I have five. Well, I have my favorite tracks out of that album. I love the second half of that album. There's some slow songs in there, and Malcolm Young does some cool stuff. Just on rhythm guitar, you can hear the mix. You hear Phil Rudd's drums and Cliff Williams' bass, and just Malcolm. Those three guys are just laying it down on some of those blues tracks. They're just laying it down. Like All Screwed Up is a great track. House of Jazz is kind of cool. Damned is kind of slow.
Yeah.
And
Damned.
Come and Get It.
Yeah. Come and Get It's seems like a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Safe in New York City, I heard originally they were going to play that. Originally, instead of being the tunnels, they were going to do it right near the Twin Towers. That was the original.
Wow. And then they... Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was ironic. I feel safe in New York City, and then 6 months later.
Satellite Blues is a fun ripping.
That was a banger. That was, I think, the lead single for that album. I think they had the music video, and that was like the single, and that was a banger.
Another banger, Meltdown. It's another little banger jam, which I think that should have been a single. It wasn't. It's not a single, but I felt like that should have been a single. Can't stand still.
Yeah.
Can't stand. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think of that album?
Clint?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of AC/DC. I need to get more. But yeah, what I've heard of that album, my aunt was into them. And that is a good banging album. It is really bluesy, and y'all pretty much said everything I'd say about it. But like my next album, I guess I'll mention.
Yep.
Opeth's Your Arms, Your My Arms, Your...
Wait a minute. That wasn't released in 2000. That was 98.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, that's a 98. That's a 90s album.
My Arms, Your Horse? Or...
Yeah, My Arms, Your Hearse. Still Life was close in 99, but there was nothing. Not until next year with Blackwater Park. They didn't release anything in 2000.
Maybe that was
I thought Blackwater Park did come out in 2000.
Blackwater Park came out 2001.
Yeah, Blackwater Park came out. All right, then I'll mention the album I was listening to right before the stream started. Cradle of Filth, Median.
Yeah.
Personally, where I get my name from has a Cthulhu track on it about Cthulhu. You know, I used to have a T-shirt of that album. That album just, to me, is just pure, melodic, evil sounding. Right before, you know, really a lot of the lineup changes were in Cradle of Filth. That was like the best era of, you know, Cradle, I think, from that album and before. Like all the 90s and, you know, that album just... I remember when I was a kid and that came out, my brother had it, and I thought I was scared of that album because of the artwork. I was like, man, this is disturbing. And how evil it looked, and it just was like had that very purple, evil looking album. It just, when you're a kid, that album just gave me chills. But now I absolutely love that album. Anybody else want to chime in on it?
I got into Cradle a little bit later when they got, you know, kind of more into that, you know, a little bit more commercially friendly and stuff like that. So, you know, I do sometimes listen to Cradle of Filth. I'll just, you know, morbid curiosity sometimes, but they're not one that I listen to all that often.
Back when that album was released, I wanted to like Cradle of Filth because they had that kind of the goth image, the goth look, and the really cool gothy music videos. But then the music's kind of like this, you know, kind of extreme blackened kind of music. And I wanted to like it. I just didn't really like his vocals back then. And, you know, this is going back, you know, 20 years. So I didn't really like them that much. I didn't really like them back then. But now, you know, in the last five or so years, I've came around on Cradle of Filth, and so okay, you know, I don't mind Cradle of Filth now. You know, even now I can only handle as much as talented as Danny is, I can only handle like half an hour at a time because it does start to get a little, you know, screechy kind of in the ears. It's like, okay, I've had enough of this.
See, to me, I like all of it. I mean, like, I like the earlier stuff the best, but I think, you know, that was his, you know, signature stuff. But his voice does kind of take a lot of getting used to, because it is very screechy, is a good way of putting it. Very different, you know.
But that album was huge for them. Like, yeah, they had music videos I would play on the music video channels, and like I'd watch it. I wanted to like it. I just didn't really like the vocals. I knew he was talented. I was like, this guy's talented. I just wasn't in tune with it quite yet. And then, you know, 15 years later, I'm like, okay, I'm not as fussy as I am. I don't care about the vocals as much as I did back then. So, yeah, you know, I like Cradle of Filth now, but back then I didn't.
Yeah, and like that album too, you know, I was a kid, you know, when I first heard it. And like I said, it gave me nightmares, you know, because of the album front of it. And then when I looked at the lyrics, because my brother was all obsessed with it at the time. And then you see the girl and the shark coming out of her stomach. It's just unnatural. You're just like, what the flying fuck is that? And it kind of, I had a nightmare that a shark came out of my stomach because of that CD.
Yeah. Real quick, we got Frederick up in the chat. Nice to see you here, dude.
What up, Frederick?
Unless Mike has any album he wants to talk about, you know. Do you, Mike?
I do.
All right.
I have a twofer.
Oh, twofer.
2 albums. First is,
Alright.
well, this is an obvious one. We're going to new metal by
Ooh.
Troy Grant / Reprise Records, producer Johnny K.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Disturbed.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I thought you were going to go new metal. You said Reprise. I'm like, oh, yeah. We all know.
Yeah, cool.
The infamous. Oh,
I still say this is probably their best studio album, my opinion. Everybody has a different opinion, I think, on Disturbed. I think this is their best album, in my opinion. Just
I can kind of.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I played this album for jazz. I would need to play it, but yeah.
It's my second favorite.
I mean,
It's my second favorite.
I mean, we go down the listing. You got Voices, The Games, Stupefy.
Stupefy, yeah.
Down with the Sickness.
Yeah, the infamous song. Yeah, that infamous.
That opening vocal is just insane. Some people can't even do that. You know.
I'm probably one of those that could. I mean, I just did it 2 times.
I can't.
No, mommy, don't do it again.
We have Violence Fetish. And you talk about a song.
Yeah, talk about a type of track name. Whew.
Fear, Numb, Want, Conflict, Shout, 2000, Tears for Fears cover.
Nice.
That show was a cool cover. That's a cover song. That's a cool cover.
Then you have this album's been reissued in 2002 reissue. At the
Broken Blade.
Nice. Then you got the 10th
That's what,
anniversary.
and then the back. I think this is the original version.
And it also comes with an instrumental disc. There's an instrumental disc also.
Oh yeah, so you can lay down your own. You can cover them and stuff. That's for people who can cover them. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. But yeah, I think this one's the original version. Just the one disc.
I wonder if there's any difference between the version that you have and the version I have, because I have a Canadian one, a printed in Canada one. So I wonder if there's any differences.
I'm gonna
Probably.
look and see what this one.
I'm gonna assume.
I can't really, what would be the difference? Show me yours, because I can't really tell.
I'm gonna assume it's the exact same.
Okay. Here's some stats.
Yeah.
Here's some stats. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're probably identical. Actually, whoa, wait a minute.
That's
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the
Yeah, well, mine is the picture of the band is it takes up 3. Yours only took up 1.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there might be a difference.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yours might be the Canon one. I'd have probably the US version.
Right. Some added notes to the album. I'm looking at the certifications for it. Okay, here's what I got. In Australia, they sold 70,000 units in Australia. It went platinum in Australia. In Canada, went platinum twice. Sold over 200 copies. 200,000 copies in Canada. In the United Kingdom, it went gold. Sold 100,000. And then in the United States, went five times platinum. Sold 5 million. 5 million copies.
Wow.
All right. I'll be right back, guys.
And one funny thing about that album too, you know, I remember whenever like that album came out too, you know, like everybody had their kind of like music they showed off. You know, you had your music class, and everybody had that kind of like, you know, a lot of the people had the now CDs like that, have like the biggest hit songs on it. And everybody was like, "This song is so evil."
Or back then they had like Kids Bop. Anybody remember those?
Yeah, but yeah, but I'm talking about like the now music, and it had like the biggest hits of the year, and it was like almost all like, you know, pop music. But that was the one song, and everybody was like, "Have you heard that one song with that guy sounding like a demonic monkey?"
Stupefy? Was it the probably Stupefy song?
No, it was the sickness. And then when he gets to the part when he's like, "No, mommy, no,
Yeah.
mommy," you know, everybody like freaked out. You know, when they heard that part. You know, everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, what is this? Like, what the?"
I still need to see Disturbed on tour. I still have never seen. They're a band I've never seen live.
Neither have I.
I need to see them too, Mike. Did Ryan go poof?
I think Ryan said he had to go poo. Yes. Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. You know, when nature calls. You know.
Okay, I'll go with a really interesting one. Is this band often gets, or this guy, the lead singer, often gets in debates, especially on these streams on like the Metal Band channel. You guys are always hating on Chris Barnes, but he put out Graveyard Classics in 2000. This covers album, and I actually think these are actually pretty good covers, like death metal rock, death and roll covers of classic songs. But actually, some of these, when I would have bought this back in 2000, it'd be probably some of the first times I heard some of these songs. I was familiar with obviously TNT. I was obviously familiar with Sweet Leaf, Black Sabbath. It was probably the first time I heard like maybe not, wasn't Blackout, In League with Satan, and probably would have been one of the first times I heard Venom and Holocaust. But the Blackout's cool. John Bush from Anthrax is featured on a song, but these are cool covers. You know, if you're looking for some, death metal type covers of classic rock songs, it's cool.
Doesn't it have smoke on the water on it too?
Sorry?
Doesn't it have smoke on the water too?
Yeah, Smoke on the Water. And it's got Sweet Leaf, Black Sabbath, TNT, AC/DC, Blackout, Scorpions, Son of a Bitch, AC/DC, Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple, Purple Haze, Jimi Hendrix, In League with Satan, Venom, California Uber Alles. I'm going to assume that's Dead Kennedys, I think.
Yeah. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, I think it's Dead Kennedys, I'm pretty sure. Yes, Dead Kennedys. Yeah, so that's cool stuff. I thought I'd spark some debate with the 6 Feet Under. Very hated band. But you gotta remember, at this time, Barnes still had his death metal voice, so like they're not like atrocious or nothing.
Yeah. Was this after he left Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, he left Cannibal Corpse like a couple of years. Like there was at least I think 2 or 3 6 Feet Under albums before that came out, right, Jamie?
Yeah, so he would have left 6 Feet Under left Cannibal Corpse around 94, and then right away he put out Haunted with 6 Feet Under in 1995.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's like I don't know how he was able to get a band together that quick, record an album, and put it out basically the next year, the same, basically right at that same time. It's like he must have known he was gonna. He must have known he was going to leave Cannibal Corpse, and he must have had. I don't know. It all seemed like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Well,
because the bleeding came out in '94.
Afterwards.
Do what?
He decided to grow his hair out, sleep on people's couches, and eat sandwiches.
Well, yeah, too bad Ryan wasn't here for the 6 Feet Under. He probably would have had a ball with that one.
All right, I guess I'll mention another one while we're waiting. Is Give Me One.
I've never heard of that band. Give Me One. I'm joking.
Yeah, I was like, what? I think he froze there.
Clayton, you froze.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, well, hello there.
All right, I guess I'll mention King Diamond's House of God.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah, that's an incredible album.
You want to talk about it, Jamie? Go ahead.
Okay, I am back. What have we talked about? Because when I was here, we were talking Disturbed. What have I missed?
You know what I busted out, Brian? I busted out 6 Feet Under Graveyard Classic.
Ah, God, the 6 Feet Under. Oh, God.
But you know this is
these versions are fantastic. First try.
You know that this is their covers album, though, though?
Yeah. Best covers album ever. Okay, but so that was after Disturbed.
Yeah. House of God. I know there's lots of like old school '80s purists where they're like, "Oh, I only listen to '80s King Diamond and everything after sucks." Screw that. That's stupid. That's stupid. Andy LaRoque is always pumping out the cool riffs, and we got Glenn Drover on guitars, who later joined Megadeth, I believe, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
So this is no slouch band here. So actually, it's kind of weird. Is the front cover is showing like this, like right side up, and then when you flip it around, it's upside down.
Wow.
Look at it, it's actually upside down. It's very weird. So then, flipping around, but this is pretty well actually an album you can pretty well play in full. There's not a whole lot of skippers on here. Actually, this is cool. There's a little sticker, a hype sticker on here called The Wall. Lifetime music guarantee. I got a lifetime music guarantee on this. I don't know what that. It's like, I don't know what they're trying to say. Like, if I don't enjoy the music anymore, they guarantee it. They'll guarantee my money back, maybe.
Interesting.
This is an incredible album. Help's a great song. The House of God's good. The trees have eyes is great. Just a shadow.
Eyes, yeah. Yes.
Hell, I think Hell's probably my just by looking at it, that'd be one of my standout favorite songs from the album Help. Is Frederick in the chat? Did he say anything about the?
No, he hasn't come back yet. This is the last thing he said.
Right. Yeah, mine is full screen. I have to minimize to see the chat, but yeah, I think it's actually it'd be one of my more favorite modern King Diamonds in terms of like top to bottom. Like top to bottom, there's no stuff. I like it. Definitely like it better than the Puppet Master.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta get Mike. I'll let you say what you're gonna say before I'll go and make my next one to talk about.
Oh, whoa. Cool. Clint, you picked the King Diamond one, right?
Yeah, but Jamie said pretty much everything I'd say about it.
All right, then I'll pick an album.
Well, you're skipping over me. I had to leave, and then
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I have to make my. Yeah, I haven't done mine yet. All right, let's just get this one out of the way. Hyper Theory, Linkin Park.
Not much of a Linkin Park fan, not gonna lie.
This and probably Meteora are probably the only ones that allow some of those that are in the new metal stuff from them only care about them. They don't care about anything from Menace to Midnight or Thousand Suns or what was it, Living Things. I Have Living Things or The Hunting Party or one more light. Hunting Party's good, but none of their other stuff afterwards could come close to this or Meteora. They're instant classics when it comes down to it. I love the songs of Paper Cut, One Step Closer, Crawling in My Skin in the end. That's one of their most iconic songs ever. This is an instant classic when it comes down to it. Freaking Linkin Park, Hyper Theory. What are y'all's thoughts on it?
I would say definitely the anthem for the year 2000.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would definitely say that if I don't know the stats, I know the Surge sold well, but I wonder if that one sold better than the Surge. I wonder.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I know I hear more people talk about that album than I do the Sickness.
Yeah.
The first time I saw the music video, the very first music video they ever released, the first time I saw it, I just had no idea it was going to end up blowing up and being as big as it was. You just had no idea.
Let me get. Was it in the end? Was it in the end?
No, it was, I think it's track number 2.
Oh, one step closer. One step closer.
Yeah, one step closer, yeah, because it was a short song. And, new metal was out, so for me it was just like, okay, here's another new metal track. There's hundreds of them right now. I just had no idea that song was going to blow up as huge as it did. But that album's undeniable. Like, the harmonizing, the melodies, the catchiness of it, it's undeniable. That's just, it's an incredible album. It's undeniable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And as much as I like to be like, oh, the deep cuts, the later albums, this and that, and try to touch on some later albums, unfortunately, that album is so good you cannot top it. Like, you can't.
Exactly, you can't top it. It's literally one of the greatest albums. They're probably their greatest album of all time.
Like, they were never going to make an album that was better than that. So,
yeah, I mean, come on.
Definitely a great start. And
yeah, we can all agree that Hybrid Theory is easily. It's the rare case of a debut album being their best album. Only one. There's only maybe a handful of bands I could see maybe having their debuts being number one, but usually it's not. Usually debuts, unless it's like a really big deal or something like that, it's rare that it's their best album or something like that. But in the case with Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory is literally their best.
You guys, someone mentioned Hunting Party. Hunting Party is a good album, actually, if people want to revisit that. That one's not too bad. But again, it's nothing as great as Hybrid Theory was.
Yeah, nowhere close. Nowhere close at all. Alright, so who's going next? Was it you, Clint, or is it Mike? Yeah, you go on ahead, Mike, and then we...
Alright, well, I'm gonna throw out another obvious one. Fuck! Limp Bizkit. Yeah, we're going to Limp Bizkit.
Chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that album at one point. The only reason that I like that album, keep rolling. That. I mean, it's such an iconic song.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Actually, probably the actual best song on this album, I'd say, is "Take a Look Around." Like, that was actually kind of like not serious song. I think it was a cover song, but it borrowed a couple, like a line or something from. But anyway, I know it was on the Mission Impossible soundtrack, but that was actually that was a banger song.
Yeah.
all right. I'm ready for my next one if y'all are ready.
All right, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna catch
Mudvayne
you guys
LD50.
Oh, you're gonna edit. All right, Mike. You take care, man.
Oh, he's doing the Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Did you know where I said
Mudvayne.
mine?
Wait, Mudvayne. You mentioned Mudvayne. Freaking LD50, baby. Woo!
Yeah, boy.
Hometown band represent. Woo!
Well,
Yeah, they're from my hometown of Peoria, Illinois. But yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know that, Ryan.
they're from Peoria, Illinois. Yeah, super pumped that they're the ones that broke through when it came to the metal scene. I'm like, yes, I got a metal band I can root for. That's from my hometown. Yes.
And I got,
Yeah.
and from my hometown, I got Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, from Dallas. Oh yeah, you have Pantera. I think they're from
but
the
this
Dallas.
is my exact hometown, though. Pantera's from a couple towns down. I'm talking about from like actual Burleson. That put us on the map, you know, the actual hometown.
Yeah, a pop artist.
And then, you know,
I can say.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
I can't argue. I mean, when you got a hometown band that was part of that whole new metal scene, I can't argue. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's an incredible album right there.
I wouldn't say it's their best. I would either say that's either The End of All Things to Come or Lost and Found. But that was a close third.
Yeah, I'm actually a third. But it is a good debut.
Death Blooms, Dig, obviously the iconic thing, aka Burr Ding. You know, that meme that got blew up on the head and like.
Yeah. But yeah, this album's pretty undeniable too. Especially when you do start playing it and you just start actually playing it. Besides Dick, all the songs just start building and they get so deep, and the singer, you could tell the singer's like is so emotional with all his lyrics and the way he's presenting everything. Like this stuff gets pretty deep. Like when you do start playing the album in full, and it's like you forget how great this album was. Or is.
Like, isn't Death Blooms on that album?
Oh, yeah. Death Blooms is probably one of the...
Death Blooms is, you know, about his grandmother dying, you know, and it was really personal to him.
But
yeah.
This album has so many bangers when you do start playing it. Internal Primates Forever, Cradle, Severed, Everything and Nothing. Like, a lot of these songs just start jumping all over the place. They start taking on these waves, ups and down waves.
Yeah. The one problem I have one problem with it. There's 17 tracks on it. That's a little bit bloated when you think about it. Like you could have just had maybe a standard 12 or something like that. You could have picked 12 and you'd know you had 17. Like, come on.
Well, it's because there's a bunch of intro and pre-intros. Like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 like kind of throwaway intros.
Yeah, you could combine that with songs that it's building up into, and you had a 13-track album basically right there.
Yeah.
All right, I guess this is what this video is turned on to. I guess we'll put it in and have a virtual pit.
Huh.
Virtual pit.
Alrighty, we're gonna get back on track with me now. I think this is more like I got at least probably. Where's the other one? I have at least 2 more after this one on CD. But I figure I want to take a break from all the physical albums I have shown and maybe show one I don't have that I do absolutely love. And I don't know if either of you have it, but technically the second solo album from Slash the Snake Pit, Ain't Life Grand. Arguably, in my opinion, his best solo album. Nothing from the Miles Kennedy and thinking the first Slash the Snake Pit album, okay. But this one, oh my fucking god, this one's the best one that he's ever done solo-wise.
Is that the one that...
No, it's the band. It's the band. It's a picture of the band with Slash and the rest of the bandmates.
That's the one I'm missing.
That is the best one. I don't even have it, and it fucking sucks. I really want this album because it's literally...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a Speed Parade's on that album.
Freaking, you got some heavy moments of, like, say, Serial Killer, freaking Mean Bone. You got moments that are more of, like, hard rock stuff, like Shine. You got ballady stuff like Back to the Moment. Freaking a blues track. The title track, a bluesy rock type of track. So damn good. Landslides, another great hard rock song. I love it. There's just a lot of it is like I said, easily the best thing he's done solo wise. Nothing from the Miles Kennedy stuff or anything come close. Maybe the self-titled solo, but literally this is easily the best thing he's ever done solo-wise.
It's heavy. It's like heavy too. It's heavy rocking. A lot of the songs are
Rocking. Yeah, you literally, it's a mixed bag of hard rock, some blues rock, heavy metal from time to time. It's just really, really good, and I love it. I need to get it in my collection. Yeah, Any Life Grant, fucking fantastic album.
Yeah, that is good. It is good. Yeah, I'll show Soulfly Primitive came out in year 2000.
Yeah.
Back to the Primitive. But and then there were some features on here. There was Jump the Fuck Up with Corey Taylor, and there was Terrorist Tom Araya from Slayer. But this is a cool kind of progressive Brazilian nu metal. Actually, I don't even really consider Soulfly nu metal at all. I just consider them kind of just standard heavy metal, but this album's great. Clint, you into the Soulfly Primitive, or?
Yeah, I love Soulfly. I mean, I hear a little bit of nu metal, like in the music, just a little bit, but it is a solid album. It ain't my favorite by them, but it is a good album. I mean, it's a good return of Max Cavalera, you know.
It's cool. Yeah, there's some weird progressive Brazilian kind of stuff going on here at times, Brazilian instrumentals and things like that. But also, what's the Beatles' son is on this? One of the Beatles that died. Well, I think a lot of them died now. Three of the four of them died, but
George probably did.
No,
George
not
was the last one to die. The other two are still alive. Ringo and Paul are still alive.
Who was married to Yoko Ono?
John Lennon. John Lennon died in 1980.
Yeah, John Lennon's son is on here, actually. He does this kind of a spoken part. Not really a spoken part, but kind of like a harmonizing chorus thing, I think. But yeah, John Lennon's son is on here.
Cool.
I forget what specific song. I think on Song. It's called Song, or something like that. But it's all written in kind of Brazilian lettering, so it's hard to read. But it's on Song or something like that. But it's cool. That's great. I actually love the cover too. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah. All right, Clint, you're up.
All right. Are y'all ready for this bad boy? This is the last album by this band, Reinventing the Steel by Pantera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people say they don't even like that album. I freaking love that album. I got it here somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is.
I mean,
yeah.
And like, to be honest, I played the hell out of every single Pantera album. So if I were like, when I listen to Pantera, I most often listen to this one because it still feels the freshest. It just still feels the freshest to me because I played the death out of the other one. So I often play this one more than any other Pantera in the last 10 years, just because it still sounds fresh to me.
It's definitely, I would say, tone-wise, it's definitely their heaviest. Tone-wise, like musically, it sounds like the tune's lower, because Phil's voice is deeper sounding on that album, in my opinion.
It sounds like Dime's having a lot of fun on this album. Like there are a lot of like jammy type riffs that Dime seems to be doing on here. But I don't know, I love this album, but it still feels fresh to me. And I most often, in the last 10 years, my most listened to Pantera album is this. Overall, it's probably, I think Cowboys from Hell is probably my favorite Pantera album of all time. But again, I play it to death. I don't need to play it every month or even yearly or nothing like that. So I often go to this one.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love goddamn Electric. Yesterday Don't Mean Shit. Revolution is my name.
It's my name,
Rattle. We'll grind that ass for a long time. Uplift. I don't care too much for. I think it's either it makes them disappear. That's the only song I don't care too much for. Track number 9, but other than that, I love this whole album. But especially Yesterday Don't Mean Shit. I believe Kerry King has a guitar solo in that song.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kerry King did a guitar solo in Yesterday Don't Mean Shit.
I believe so too. I think.
Yeah. I could quickly try to look in the pamphlet, but I always like the shot. I always like the shot on the inside of the CD here too. I always like that shot.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's cool.
You know, at that time too, it took a while for that album to come out because Phil was pretty heavy into heroin at that time, and it really did take a while for that album to come down. And they didn't tour as much on that album because of all that.
Yeah, I heard rumors that the band recorded it in the studio and Phil recorded his parts at home. So it turned a lot of people off, like the old school Pantera guys are like, oh, they were separated, they recorded it all separate, and it sounds just disjointed or whatever they think. But when I hear it, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like they're all together. It sounds like they're all in tune and having a good time.
But obviously there's a reason for all that. There was a lot of tension between everybody. Especially between Phil and the Abbott brothers. Vinnie Paul and Dimebag. There was a lot of tension.
Yeah, that's what the rumors was back then, and even now you hear whatever you read stuff about that album, and just what you said, Ryan, about that they were having issues. But when I hear it, it doesn't sound like it at all.
But but the sad thing is when you do record every instrument separate. You don't record.
Yeah. I just mean there was rumor that the band recorded in the studio. And Phil Anselmo recorded all his parts at home, like that was but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they're all having a great time on the album. Phil's lyrics are all like they're not great, but they're cool songs. Like these are all cool songs. It doesn't sound disjointed. It doesn't sound like they were fighting. So that's just the mark of a great band, where they could hide it without anyone knowing.
Yeah.
Because you listen to it, you wouldn't think that this band was fighting. You wouldn't think that they were going to break up a year later, unless you were in the underground and reading all the interviews and knew how bad Phil was getting strung out and things like that. But other than that, you musically couldn't really tell.
Yeah. But yeah, they were all at odds. So that's why Phil went and did did the vocals at his house, and then the rest did it at the studio or something like that. But yeah, there was quite a bit of tension between everybody, basically. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna get to kind of getting on back to an album that I physically own at this point. The debut album from Demons and Wizards, self-titled.
Oh, wow.
This is a side project of John Schaefer, rhythm guitarist, and occasional vocalist for Iced Earth. I think he only sang on an Iced Earth track once, I believe. And also Hansi Kirsch, the vocalist of Blind Guardian. Now, obviously, I did a retrospective for this band when I first started the whole retrospective things. At some point, I might redo it at some point. But basically, in a nutshell, all this album is if Hansi Kirsch joined Iced Earth. Because it's basically, you know what the sound is when it comes to John Schaefer. He has that Iced Earth style, the American style power metal, basically. And then you have all Hansi Kirsch in there with the vocals and stuff. That's basically what this is. It's just if Hansi Kirsch joined Iced Earth, in a nutshell, basically.
And a little slower, though. A little slower pace, though.
Yeah, but most of the tracks, I think songs like Right Rites of Passage going into Heaven Denies and then Poor Man's Crusade. But then you get songs like, say, Path of Glory that are more of like kind of more of that, but you get stuff that's more of like, basically Heaven Denies and Poor Man's Crusade are easily something you would hear on an Iced Earth album, pretty much. Then you get stuff that is kind of in that same vein of what they were trying, doing some mixture of or something like I said, Path of Glory. Probably the best ballady song on here, bar none for me. And every other song is either going to sound like either Heaven Denies and Poor Man's Crusade, or they're going to sound like Path of Glory, But those are really the highlights of this. And aside from their last album, 3, this is arguably the best one they have done. And that's, again, just like the Linkin Park thing, a debut being freaking great, But yeah, this is a fantastic debut, a fantastic blend of, Iced Earth style instrumentation with Hansi Kirsch on vocals. It's really fantastic. Because, yeah, Demons and Wizards, self-titled, fantastic album, in my opinion.
This can sound weird. As much as I love Iced Earth, I never actually got into Demons and Wizards because I always, I still think or thought that it was like too power metal-y, like too. Is it symphonic?
No, it's of that. What I meant by American power metal, it's more of that kind of heavy, thrashy style. Yeah. So you get bands like them, Manowar, who else comes to mind? Riot, more of that American style. Orden Ogan is another one that I would also say is more in that American style of power metal, even though they're in the Europe side. But they're more of that heavy, thrashy style of power metal than, say, the European bands of like Rhapsody, Fire, Stratovarius, Halloween in some cases even. I'm sure the Andy Dury stuff was more of that, traditional European style of power metal.
So it's actually not symphonic.
No, it's completely more of that thrashy power metal in the U.S. There is a difference because the European style is of that, your traditional power metal, the more symphonic stuff. There is some crazy stuff, but it's more of that symphonic style. Then you got the U.S. style, more bands like Early Fates Warning, Early Symphony X, Iced Earth, obviously, Sabotage, that are more in that heavy, thrashy side of things. More of that heavy, more guitar-oriented than heavy, like I said, thrashy side. And Iced Earth is one of those that's easily of that style. So, yeah, definitely check them out. But, yeah, basically, that's what Demons and Wizards is. It's like Iced Earth, that American thrashy power metal style with the Hansi Kirsch vocals, Blind Guardian vocals. Really, really great.
Yeah, I think I always just assumed it was like symphonic, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like a little too I thought it'd be like too powery for me.
It's completely thrashy. Much more completely thrashy.
I should probably definitely revisit. I should probably revisit that Demons and Wizards band in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Clint would go next, I think.
It was your turn now.
Mine?
Yeah, you're going back in the order with me, and then it's you now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll show one. Everyone's going to know this lead singer, but people may have not actually followed his solo albums, Alfred Resurrection.
Alfred, yeah.
Mention that one.
The hardcore Priest fans definitely followed Halford, but like casuals didn't. They would just be like, oh, just Judas Priest only, just the old school Judas Priest ones. But if you are a diehard Judas Priest fan, you did follow what Halford was doing when he did leave there briefly and came back to Angel Resurrection. This is 2000, and this is actually a pretty incredible, just kind of a straightforward heavy metal album.
If I'm correct, I don't know if he's on there, but is Roy Z on that album?
Produced by Roy Z, yeah. And actually,
because he's known for Roy Z is also known for working with Bruce Dickinson. Obviously, Boston Picasso, and then probably before that, the last two Bruce Dickinson solo albums, Accident of Birth and The Chemical Wedding, are fucking fantastic.
Yeah, Roy Z always has like those really crunchy guitars, like really crunchy kind of cool guitar tones. So you can always expect that with a Roy Z production with those cool crunchy metal guitars. But Actually, it's funny you bring it up because I'm pretty sure the one you love to hate, the song, the one you love to hate features Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson's on it too? Oh my god, I gotta get that because if it has Bruce Dickinson on it, oh my god, I need to get it.
And it was like an iconic thing where Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford team up and do a duet. But it's a rock song.
I'm like, holy fucking shit! This is something I was not fucking hearing that you say coming out of your mouth. Freaking Bruce Dickinson on a Halford song. I'm like, oh, I need you. Oh, I gotta get that.
It's not just like a slow throwaway track. It's an actual like full on like up tempo, up fast, heavy metal rocker, which I was surprised when I originally thought that they'd be doing a duet together. I'm thinking, okay, this would be like a slow kind of slowy song, but no, this is like a full on rocker song. But there's some great songs on here. Locked and Loaded, boom, that's a banger. Cyberworld, Nightfall, the one you love to hate as well, and none of the back tracks are standing out to me, although I'd probably know it if they started playing. But yeah, great Halford album. Definitely check it out if you're not familiar. And also, I'm pretty sure the guitarist that wasn't Halford later teamed up with Vinny and Dime in Damage Plan.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name there?
Patrick was his name.
Pat Lackman, yeah, I'm pretty sure Pat Lackman. Yeah, Patrick Lackman guitars, yeah, and then Metal Mike on guitars. Metal Mike,
Roy Z, you know. But I think the best combination with Roy Z is Roy Z and Agent Smith when they did the Bruce Dickinson stuff. That combination is just. If I will say this, if Yannick Gerd would ever leave Iron Maiden, Roy Z would be the perfect fit. I mean, come on, that would be fucking amazing. You freaking have Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, and Roy Z. I mean, come on, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he could play all that stuff. I don't see why not.
Personally, that's my favorite solo Halford album. That's personally my favorite, and the first one I ever heard. Like, you know, I really love that album a lot. And it's like, you know, lyrically too, Rob Halford really got out some really cool words on that album to me. It's highly, highly recommend that album.
Yeah, this one.
Now that you mentioned that, freaking.
There was this one, and Metal God was good too. He put out Metal God. There was a race car in the front, like a Metal God race car. That's a good one. And then there was Crucible. But yeah, I think Resurrection or Metal God was probably my two favorites, and then Crucible would be my least favorite of the three. Then you had a couple Christmas albums.
The best album he ever created was number 2.
Oh, Crucible.
Number
Crucible?
2. Number 2.
Oh, the Fight album.
Nope. His industrial band name 2.
Oh yeah, 2. Yeah, that. But yeah, that's the one now that you mentioned that freaking Bruce Dickinson is on it. I gotta get it because anything with Bruce Dickinson, I gotta fucking get.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely checked it out when the show's over. But what do you say? Oh, two Voyeurs. Yeah, I got that. I got 2 Voyeurs. It's a cool industrial project. You know, there's some skipper songs on that album for sure, but there's some cool songs. Water is Leaking, cool song, and I think there's a song called Shudder. There's a song called Shudder, but that's 1998 anyway.
Yeah. So I guess my turn for the next album.
Go for it, dude.
All right. I'm about to go some tech death on y'all with Nile's Black Seeds of Vengeance.
Yeah, Nile. Egyptian themed metal band.
Yeah, that album is incredible. That album is amazing.
Oh, you don't like Nile?
I don't. I was going to say, like, when he's done finish, I'll say, like, even though I own this, I ended up just getting us at a pawn shop way back in the day. for a couple bucks at a pawn shop, but I don't really care for it. It's just like, yeah, people love Nile. I know the extreme metal guys love Nile. It's just a little too extreme for me. It's kind of like Cryptopsy, where it's just like endless, relentless blast beats with no groove. I need a little bit of groove in there to at least get into it at times. So it's just relentless. But again, maybe I need to revisit it. Maybe I'm wrong. Clint says it's amazing, so it's amazing to him.
Definitely revisit.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's like, it's a little too pummeling for me. It's like I can get into some like 90s death metal because there's a lot of groove and not breakdowns, but like there's some breakdowns here and there. Nile, there's just like nothing. It's just pure relentless the whole time.
Yeah. Alrighty, gonna get game back on me with the CD side of things after I mentioned slashes. All right. My next one that I have physically, the debut album from Transatlantic, as I only have a burned copy of it, SMPTE, which is basically the first letter of their last name. So you have Stolt, Roy Stolt from the Flower Kings, Morse, that's Neil Morse, been in plethora of bands, Neil Morse band, did Flying Colors and stuff. Mike Portnoy, who his last project was LTE, and obviously of Dream Theater fame at the time. So he was still in Dream Theater at this time. And then you have Pete Travalas, or whatever he says his last name. He's from Marillion fame. Really, all this is just prog rock. Songs are relatively lengthy as hell. But yeah, this is their debut album, and realize that they came out in 2000, as you can see. But just prog rock. Nothing too really too special. Prog rock debut. From practically a prog rock supergroup, practically. So yeah, SMPT from Transatlantic, their debut. Definitely, if you're into that prog rock, you definitely need to check it out.
Is there a singer on that, or is it just instrumental?
Everybody sings on it. Neil Moore sings. Roy, I believe. I don't know. Roy sings later on, but I believe it's Mike Portnoy does some singing. Neil does some singing. Pete does some singing in there. So everybody nowadays sings on everything from Transatlantic, but at some point it was just, I think, 3 people maybe. So yeah, everybody sings on it. It's not completely instrumental. So it's
Morse guy. I've always heard a band name called Tad Morse. Is that the guy? Is that guy?
No, Neil Morse is completely different.
Oh, okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? Isn't there a Tad Morse band? Tad Morse?
I don't know. Oh. Not too familiar with the name.
Oh. I always thought that would have been the same guy then.
Yeah, well, I was going to end up picking Clint, but Tatum, your turn.
Yeah, I was going to show an album. I'll wait for Clint to get back because he'll probably know that one. I'll show him no one really will care about here. But anyway, I believe... What's this? No, there was one more Rollins band, but this is the second to the last Rollins band. Get Some Go Again, 2000. And this is actually one of my more favorite Rollins band albums. This album's actually incredible. We got Illumination, Get Some Go Again, Monster, Love So Heavy, Thinking Cap, Change It Up, Are You Ready? You Let Yourself Down, Illuminator. This album's incredible. Like, when I'm just reading through the track list, it looks like a greatest hits to me, but like, that's how fucking great this album is. Again, Ryan, I don't know if you're familiar with Rollins bands, but this is incredible. It's cool. Yeah.
I know about that. I know about the Rollins band. I know about them.
This album's incredible. This album's really cool. Just like reading all the song titles, I almost know everything on in here. As I'm reading the song titles, I quickly sing the chorus in my head as I'm reading them. This album's incredible. Really cool stuff. And yeah, I'm a big Rollins fan. He put out one more album after that. Nice came out. I think Nice came out 2001, 2002, and then they never recorded an album ever again. I really wish they would have, because I really enjoy Rollins band, and he always had so much to say. He always had just so much to say, like on every sort of topic you can imagine, and really interesting. Monster is a really interesting track off this one where I think he puts himself in the shoes of like a parent like beating a child or something like that. Like he's a monster. Only a monster would do that. Only a monster could, beat your kid, sort of thing. So some really weird kind of deep topics and things like that. Although the music is so fun and up tempo, that's all I really get into. But it's definitely kind of heartbreaking to hear kind of singing about that kind of stuff. But hey, it's just real life. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I could show some more if you want to go up, or.
I think I'm not. Yeah, like I said, I know about the Rollins band. That Henry Rollins was on a Tool album. He did like a spoken word on one of the Tool songs on Undertow.
Yeah,
he had lost a bet or something. He lost a bet or something.
I remember seeing an interview or seeing an interview on YouTube of when Rollins was talking about that. I forget the specific story, but I think it was one of those things. I think they were recording in the same building, in the same studio or something like that, and he just walked over. I think this is the story. He just walked over to the Tool recording section and then Maynard asked him to do something, and he just kind of just did it off the cuff, like he didn't really rehearse it. He just kind of off the cuff did it. I might be getting the story confused with something else.
Yeah, because he lost a bet and he lost in poker game and all that stuff. So they had to do that favor or something like that, and they were like, yeah, just come and do this.
I think I'm actually getting mixed up with when the Maynard James Keenan appeared on a Deftone album. Maynard James Keenan just walked into the Deftone studio and just like did his part off the cuff. I think that's what I'm getting confused with. I'll show this because you love your concept albums. We got Virgin Steel,
Virgin Steel, yeah, that was on my list. The House of H's Part 2, yeah, Act 2.
And
double album.
It's a double disc. There's a ton of filler on this between the two CDs, but if you were to remove all the filler, you got one decent CD of material out of the two albums. Because there's a ton of these, like 46 seconds, a minute 32, 222, 27 seconds, and 131, 108, 116, 114. So you were to remove all that crap, and there's some bad songs, but between the two albums, you probably got 10 decent songs. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Virgin Steel's an old 80s band, and the singer's quite unique. I know every time, like when you hear the singer, you know it's him. Like he's got that type of voice where he stands out. So yeah, cool stuff. Virgin Steel. What's the singer's name again? David DeFee.
Did I mention
David DePoe. Yeah, we were just talking about this the concept album from Virgin Steel.
It's funny as I didn't realize. I picked up all my
back in, but she ain't out there. So I'm kind of freaking out a little bit now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of keep positive thoughts on that. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
What do you mean when you put your dog out? He's not on a leash, or she's not on a leash?
No, you can't keep your dog. It's illegal to keep your dog on a leash now in Texas.
So then,
we have a lot of land, so she can run around.
Oh, right.
We have like 200 acres.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But yeah, normally if I call her, she'll come like super quick. I just called her like 10 times or more, and she didn't come. So I'm like, shit. I hope, but I'll try again after the video's over.
Oh, you try again in 5. You just go like in 5-10 minutes or something.
Do what?
Just go call her in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I think we mentioned the Virgin Steel album, and we mentioned Rollins Band.
I did Rollins, yeah. And, yeah.
Yeah, the Virgin Steel one, the House of Atreus Act 2, I listened to that one all the way through, and, I loved it, because, like you said, I love my concept albums and stuff like that. That's probably one of the best ones. That and the Marriage of Heaven and Hell trilogy of albums, those are really freaking great, and I love those too.
Yeah,
those are probably the only. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I like the Marriage of Heaven and Hell better, but very similar.
I like the House of Atreus. Yeah, they're very, very similar. It's like that's House of Atreus trilogy part 2, the part 2 of it, basically. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I got at least one more. Oh yeah, we got Clint, obviously. If you want to go, Clint.
My turn.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna say Nevermore's.
I got that here from
Dead Hard in a Dead World.
Hell yeah. That's actually the album that I discovered Nevermore and became a fan with Nevermore was this album.
Yeah, if you really look at the year 2000, everybody was saying new metal, but there's a lot of power metal and that kind of style in the year 2000.
Prog, alt, some good stuff. Heavy metal, it was just coming around 2001. Yeah, you have new metal, but some prog bands were coming out with some bangers like Tool and Opeth. Just to name a couple from that time, that year. Like
in hindsight, I probably have like 35, 40 albums from 2000, and only like 5 or 6 are new metal, and the rest is extreme metal, and just metal. So.
Yeah.
In terms of like ratio, it's like, yeah, the ratio is there's way more metal and extreme metal than there was new metal. So 2000 was really good. I was surprised when I started looking at all these 2000 albums. I was like, wow, man, 2000 is stacked.
Yeah, I got quite a bit of albums from that year. A good portion. Like I said, I got one more coming up physically, and there's others I want to definitely get on this list at some point.
But
I mean, that Nevermore is incredible.
Oh yeah. The vocal performance on The River Dragon Has Come. Oh my God, is that fantastic?
Big song, I know.
The vocal performance that he's putting on there, it blew me away. The first time I heard it, it was one of those songs that I just played like over and over, like not on repeat, but I just like kept playing it every couple days or every digs. I was like sold. Again, it was like super new and it was fresh, a new band, a new album, but that River Dragon, he sounds so clean. Oh my God.
Nice.
That is
this is a song. Inside Four Walls, Narcosynthesis, Insignificance, good. And a great slow song that All That Remains covered. Believe in Nothing. Believe in Nothing's a great closer. And another song. Oh no. Well, I guess Disturbed later covered this, but I don't think that was the original. But there's The Sound of Silence on here. I don't think it's the same Sound of Silence.
I mean, I think that is one of Nevermore's best, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Although, yeah, I do really love. I love the first Nevermore. Actually, really cool.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Not the. I forget the name of it. I was gonna say Symmetry in Black. I was like, no, it's Crowbar.
Yeah.
I forget the other one, but yeah, it's definitely a top 3 Nevermore. And I really love the Believe in Nothing song, and I actually really love the All That Remains cover song of when they covered the Believe in Nothing song. That's really worth checking out.
Yeah, a metalcore band covering a song from that's technically a power metal band.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah, well, yeah. What was interesting is that it's a slow song, right? But yeah, the All That Remains singer Phil Labonte, his voice just like nailed that song.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, the last one I have physically here, it's a live album, and yes, this counts because it is a 2000 album. Kiss Alive, the Millennium concert. Obviously, that was done around 99 and all the way entering 2000 because I think that was New Year's Eve and it was going into New Year's and stuff like that. So they were playing a lot of stuff, a lot of classics, some new stuff from Psycho Circus. I think the only things they played off of that were, I think, the title track and Into the Void from that album. But that's pretty much it. But then they pretty much played a lot of classics. You know, your standard Kiss songs. They played Dude. They played Rock and Roll All Night. They played Beth. They played Black Diamond. They played your usual Firehouse and all that stuff. They had some Love Gun was played as well. They just played a lot of stuff, you know, they're classics, you know.
Was that just a single CD or is that a double disc?
It's a single. It was just a one disc.
Oh,
thing.
that's weird.
It was.
Oh,
this was part of a. This is part of a collection of albums that include all the live albums. The first three Alives, that'd be like 1, Alive 2, and Alive 3, and then this came with it. So technically, this is considered Alive 4, not Alive 4. That's something completely different. But this is technically, you know, this could be counted as Alive 4 in a way because it's the classic lineup and stuff like that. So.
Good old Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose I would be next then. And this is going to be a surprise. You guys know this band. We all love this band, but you wouldn't actually realize that this came out in 2000. Terra Incognita.
Gojira? That
Yeah.
came out in 2000? I was looking at Wikipedia, and I did not know that came out in 2000.
Yeah,
Wow.
this would be a big surprise that nobody probably realized this came out in 2000. And yeah, it's like, wow, Gojira was even a band before this. They were called Godzilla.
Yeah.
And they had a death metal demo, and that would have been in 1998, 1999. So here we are, Gojira putting out their first album officially in 2000. That's 22 years. You wouldn't even realize it. It's crazy. And this album's actually so overlooked. This album's incredible. I know this album's really cool. Like, if people haven't checked this out, highly recommend revisiting this. This almost has like it's almost like Magma, but it's like a heavier version of Magma, if that makes any sense. So, like, when I listen to this, I can definitely hear how the band progressed into Magma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely hear it, but then it's like so raw and heavy and a lot like riff oriented, but there is still some Magma stuff going on back here, even back in 2000. So this album's just really great to even revisit and get back on.
But I mean, I would even say, you know, with that album too, and their earlier stuff with Godzilla, they were a lot more closer in the tune of death metal though too.
Yeah, but they had to, obviously they changed their name because, you know, Godzilla is a pretty big name when it comes to Toho and stuff. The Toho are very strict with that name, so that's the reason they had to change it at some point, you know, being called, just say, well, okay, well, why don't we go with the Japanese name, Gojira? You know, no problem. And they've been sticking with that name because nobody, usually when they see Godzilla, they usually go, unless you're in Japan, you know, you go by, you know, everybody just calls it Godzilla, you know, those films. They don't really call it by its original name, Gojira. So Gojira was like, okay, go by that name. Why not?
Yeah, this album is actually very interesting to revisit. Like, even myself, when I revisit it, you know, a few times a year or, you know, whatever, once in a while. But it actually is kind of blows you away, like, of how good they were back then and how overlooked this album is. Because everyone just talks about, you know, from Mars to Sirius, Magma.
The Way of All Flesh, Magma. Magma's probably. I will say if there were the top two in an instant for me would probably be From Mars to Sirius and The Way of All Flesh, with Magma being a close third.
Yeah, like people just talk about those albums. Nobody ever talks about this album, and when you listen to it, it's like, oh crap, this album's great. Like people.
Yeah, I got listen. I remember listening to 2 songs from that. I forgot which ones they were, but they were like, holy fucking shit! This doesn't sound like the Gojira I now know. You know, this was completely different. Before they had, you know, those dissonant, you know, the style sounding they would later incorporate on albums like from Mars to Sirius, The Way of All Flesh. This sounded more of like fucking shit, more kind of like a technical death metal in some cases.
Yeah, it's weird because I know like the last time I listened to it, I got like this magma vibes where I'm like, oh, I could definitely see how this band created magma, because when you go back and listen to this, you can hear some of that stuff, but it's much more raw and it's like a death metal version of magma, if that makes any sense. So it's definitely way overlooked. I wish it. I know I discovered Gojira on the Link album, so I have like a special connection to Link, like Link's would. But in actuality, I think that's actually better than the Link. I actually think I like that now better than the Link. So that album really won me over.
Yeah, that one and the new one are the only 2 I'm missing.
Wait, what was the new one called? Wasn't Magma. Forgot what it was called.
Amazonia.
Oh yeah, Amazonia. Yeah, that one. I didn't really care. That first single was like, it's not as great as something from like, you know, the 2 singles from Magma, but you know, this was like, and then hearing the second single, I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in this. This one's a skip for me when it comes to a Gojira album. And you know, this fun and all that stuff. You know, sometimes you put out bangers like say Los Savage, and you know, you had that fantastic one with the title track, fucking a banger song, and that had some bangers on it too. Magma is just chef's kiss, you know, fantastic and stuff. Not as fantastic as say From Mars to Sirius and The Way of All Flesh, but just easily. But yeah, coming off of it's hard coming off such of a great album with their recent stuff, you know. But yeah, I never really know that Terra Incognito was from 2000. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'd quickly say with like Amazonia, it's a grower album. I know even me the first time or the first couple times I heard it, I'm like, oh, it's not that great. But then I ended up buying it and kind of forcing myself to listen to it a few more times, and it's listenable. Like you can listen to it and enjoy it the whole way through. So it's a grower album. It's something you do have to play 3, 4, 5 times to actually.
But comparing to he'll come back. But yeah, comparing it to more From Mars to Sirius, The Way of All Flesh, and Magma, nowhere close to how great those albums are.
No, probably not.
All right, we will wait. We have a few viewers fluctuating from, you know, that 4 at one point. We have 1 in the chat. Hopefully we'll get. So I will go. Well, let's see if I'll pull, and then once Clint get back, we'll do him, and then go back then to you. I'm gonna pull an album on here, and I'm surprised no one at this point has. I could bring up a few albums on here, and I figured I wanted to bring this one up because this one's kind of another final one, and there is Clint. All right, there he is.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, okay. Well, yeah, I'll go, and then you can go after I do my pick, Clint. So, I'm going to go with what is essentially the final album from one of Ozzy's greatest drummers, Randy Castillo. He was with Motley Crue, New Tattoo, and this was obviously the last thing he ever did before he passed away because of cancer and stuff. And obviously he survived the first time, and he was gonna do. I just kept looking through what was going to happen or something like that, and there were either rumors of him and Mike Inez, who was at the time the current bassist for Alice Chase. They were going to get back together and make some stuff, and there were even rumors of he was going to rejoin Ozzy at some point, which I was like, oh, that would have been pretty damn cool. Freaking, you've had Randy Castillo on the drums, and you have Zach and freaking Rob and Ozzy, but all of that never came to fruition. But I know a lot of people don't really care about this album, but I wanted to mention it because it is the last thing Randy Castillo, who is probably one of the one of the greatest drummers and an underrated classic drummer. I mean, he did stuff with Ozzy, you know. And yeah, he did Ultimate Sin, but then he made 2 back-to-back bangers with Ozzy with No Rest for the Wicked and No More Tears, which are, in my opinion, probably fantastic and make freaking, after they made some meh albums from Ozzy, Bark in the Moon, Ultimate Sin, I don't really care about them much. But yeah, this was the last thing he ever did, and it's kind of sad to me. And I get it just because it's the last thing he ever did. And I always love Randy Castillo's drumming, especially on those Ozzy albums. So it might be an album I'm definitely thinking of getting at some point. Oh, we got Frederick back. Welcome back, dude.
Yeah, that's actually cool. I actually had no idea that Randy was on New Tattoo.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it was just, it was just the same, Motley Crue. You had the rest of the band. You had Nikki Sixx, Mick Mars, and Vince Neil and all that. But yeah, having Randy Castillo on there, which was, it's pretty cool. You got Randy. You got probably one of all these best drummers. And it's sad that that was the last thing he ever did. That really bummed me out.
I actually love New Tattoo. That's actually, like, besides the 80s Motley Crues and then Dr. Feelgood 1990, but I think Dr. Feelgood is 89, 90. But anyway, that's actually that's the best modern Motley Crue for me. It's better than any, like...
Yeah, Saints of Los Angeles. Yeah, it's better than that at the very least. It has some good stuff, but yeah, this one is... But those modern ones are probably at the bottom when it comes to the classic stuff. But I wanted to mention it because it's Randy Castillo. He's one of my favorite drummers.
I think New Tattoo is actually overlooked in the sense that I think it's great, and there's a cool production mix to it where it actually sounds like an 80s production and mix. Like, I don't know, I think a lot of the songs are kind of 80s-ish, and yeah, I think that album's actually overlooked. Like,
that would easily fit Randy's style because he was on some great Aussie 80s Aussie albums, No Rest for the Wicked, and well, technically kind of is an 80s, No More Tears, but it's just alone. If it was more like that 80s style, I'm not complaining. But I might get that. That's another album on my list that I will definitely want to get.
Yeah, I actually think that album's so good that I bought it one time, but it got lost in the mail, so I actually don't have it. So I was supposed to have it, but it got lost in the mail, and it's actually hard to get. It's not like you can't just buy it for like $5 sort of thing. It's actually kind of a harder to find album. So at one point I did buy it, but it got lost in the mail and I got refunded or whatever. But I definitely recommend people revisiting that album. It's a throwback album for me. It gives off like the 80s vibe, and like a lot of the songs like just have that kind of fun 80s thing going on. So I think it's a throwback album. It's a cool throwback album that people don't kind of respect enough. Too bad.
Yeah. And we got someone else in the chat. We got Connor. Nice to meet you here. He is the reason. Obviously, this was all because we got the 200. It's because of him. So thank you, dude. And yes, Randy is a great drummer. Yeah, he's easily a very, very underrated drummer. Like if I had to say some of the best when it comes to the 80s drummers, if I had a top 10, Randy Castillo is on that list. Because of his contributions on No Rest for the Wicked and freaking No More Tears, easily, without a doubt.
What's great about Randy for me, what I always remember is when I was a kid, I used to have an Ozzy Osbourne Live and Loud like concert from their 1991-92 tour, and it came out in 93 on VHS. Actually, I have it on CD too. Anyway, the lineup was so great. It was Randy, Zakk Wylde, and Geezer Butler.
Yeah, that was the No Rest for the Wicked tour. Yeah, Geezer came in to do the touring duties for that album. That's pretty damn awesome right there. That's
it was actually a No More Tears tour too. But I think that's one of the legs.
They got Mike Enos. They got Mike Enos at that point, and Mike was, and he would later go on to be with Alice in Chains.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Geezer was on one of the legs or something on one of the
Geezer then came back, and he did that when Ozzy came back into the studio to do it Osmosis. I believe Geezer was a part of that. But after that, Geezer was not on any other thing with Ozzy after that.
Okay, I should
Randy
revisit,
was not, and Randy wasn't with the band at that point. He had left at some point.
I should revisit the Live and Loud concert. It's probably on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure I remember it being Geezer Butler.
Huh.
Anyway,
I might look into it.
The chemistry that band had, like Geezer, Zach, and Randy, the chemistry they had when I was a kid, I was just like floored, man. They were just like so tight, amazing.
Yeah, cool. All right, Clint.
I should YouTube that quickly, just to like, okay, was that Geezer or was that just my brain saying?
Yeah, all right, Clint, your turn. As I got to go and get some.
All right, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna go some old school death metal on y'all, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Immolation, Close to a World Below. Amazing brutal death metal album. It's really good. It's fast. It's heavy, aggressive. If you know Immolation, they don't disappoint.
yeah, I have a bunch of death metal here, just in a stack. Well, some extreme metal, but I don't have Immolation.
You don't have any Immolation, or you do?
No, I don't think I'm much into Immolation. It's probably like Nile, where it's just like brutal, like a little too brutal.
Immolation has some really thrashy stuff too, though. You know, to me, they're kind of got some thrash music in their intro.
What year did the first Immolation studio album come out?
Ooh, I want to say in the 90s.
Xavier would know. He probably has the first Immolation. Do you have the first Immolation? Oh, he zonked out. Okay, so now it's just me because Ryan's gone too. Okay, I'll show one that they wouldn't care about anyway, but I realized that Axel Rudy Pell had a release in 2000, The Masquerade Ball. Good old Axel Rudy Pell. He was in a German band called Steeler back in the 80s. I think Steeler had 3 albums. Strike Back, the Animal album, when it's got that animal print on the front or whatever. But anyway, and then Axel Rudy Pell went solo. It's not instrumental music. He has a singer. What's the singer's name? I forgot the singer's name. Anyway, I actually have an ARP box set, so this is just a sleeve where the 5 albums come in a box set, but Masquerade Ball is 2000. There's some cool tracks on this. The Earls of Black is great. Voodoo Nights is great. The Masquerade Ball is cool. Tear Down the Walls is cool. And that's all I kind of know off by heart for songs that are jumping out at me. But this is a decent album. You know, Axel Rudy Pell's not full on fast and speedy. It's kind of like very mid-paced, melodic, majestic, long songs. Will take you on like this wave, and it kind of builds up to this kind of virtuosoist type guitar solo, and then goes back into the chorus and things like that. But ARP is cool.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, but what were you just talking about?
Oh, well, everybody left, so I just like, throw up an album you guys won't care about, so I threw up Axel Rudy Pell.
Oh, what album?
The Masquerade Ball.
Oh, Axel Rudy Pell. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I know you were talking. All right, yeah, all right, okay. So, what do we got on here? I'm surprised because my next pick on here, I'm gonna throw in one because I don't know. I'm surprised we come into this and y'all haven't mentioned this album from him, and this was part of a planned trilogy of concept albums from him. But Magica from Dio came out in 2000.
Oh, right. Yes. When you said that, when he came out with a trio albums, I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But
he was going to talk. I'm surprised nobody talked about Magica from Dio, and it's a concept album, and it was part of a planned trilogy.
I was planning on showing up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was figuring Jamie would have it, so I didn't mention it.
yeah, I was gonna mention because I have it on my list here, and I was like, I'm surprised nobody's mentioned freaking Magica from Dio yet, which is insane that y'all haven't mentioned it. Is the one, probably if I'm correct, the only concept album he ever did, or did he do others before it?
I suppose this would just be the concept album. Killing the Dragon. Not
Yeah,
really.
he did do before his death. He did record a song or something that was going to be part of one of the albums in the trilogy. But you know, the whole album it never came to be, obviously.
Yeah, to be honest, I think this is probably my actual least favorite Dio album. And I don't mean that to be a bad thing. It's just, I like all the other Dios so much more. Clearly, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's no disrespect. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's bad. I actually haven't listened to it in so long that I should probably revisit it. I probably haven't even heard it in a couple of years, but from what I remember, a lot of it is very mid-paced and dramatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this, again, I'm not trying to say it's bad. It's just my least favorite Dio album.
Yeah. I wanted to mention because it was like, yeah, that's another concept album from that year. You know, the Arion album. You were mentioning the House of Atreus Act 2 from Virgin Steel, and then Magica, obviously. You know, there were some great concept albums from those years, so those 98 to 2002, you know, freaking My Arms Are Hers, Still Alive, Metropolis Part 2, 6 Degrees, kind of, not really. You know, disc 2 alone is probably a concept. But, you know, and then you obviously this year, that year 2000, Magica, freaking, what was the album I was mentioning? Freaking the House of Atreus Part 2, and there's 2 others on here I have that we could get to unless y'all mention them. But yeah, there are some good concept albums from these years, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, when I'm looking at the back, some tracks do stick out for me that I do remember. Like Fever Dreams is great, Turn to Stone is great, Ariel, Chalice, Losing My Insanity. That's kind of all that really sticks out for me, but I'd say my favorite track off the album is probably either Turn to Stone or Fever Dreams.
So did he ever record the other 2, or is it not? Were the other 2 recorded, like in a vault somewhere?
He only did this was shortly after the Heaven and Hell album. When a part of the Pioneer trilogy, he only recorded one other song. I forgot what it was called, but the whole thing never came to be because he passed away before it ever happened and stuff. Which is sad. I would have loved to listen to these concept albums and think, how cool would these be? You know.
Yeah, I think he did intend that Magica to keep it going and do a couple more albums or at least one more. But again, I think he
was
just started.
3. There would have been 2 more, but the other 2 aren't to happen unless someone conjures up something that would be a sequel. But only Ronnie would ever have, unless he wrote them somewhere or something like that, and maybe they could figure out a way to maybe make this happen at some point. But it would be pretty cool if he had them written down or somewhere, so that everybody, see what this concept would have been like.
Or if he actually recorded them and they just were stuck in a vault somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be something.
I think he ended up getting sidetracked when he rejoined Heaven and Hell, and they did that Heaven and Hell project.
Yeah, the whole thing with the Sabbath, the Dio Sabbath.
Yeah, they did a full tour with that album, released it, so I think he was sidetracked with that for a couple of years, and then never ended up doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I could have gotten to Dio live. Rest in peace, Dio. And all the people.
Yeah. Yeah, there is at least. I do have at least. I'll get to the other two later because there is at least two more concept albums I have. I'm pretty sure this other one is. I know one is, but we'll get unless y'all know what the other two are, if they're even concept albums. But yeah, Jamie, your turn.
Cool. I got a couple in my hand, but I'll throw this one because everyone knows this band. Although, again, it's much like a lot of these old '80s guys. They're so elitist, where it's like only the '80s albums and everything else sucks. So screw that kind of mentality. Screw that bullshit. Motorhead came out with "We Are Motorhead" in 2000. We got a full-on modern speed album here. I don't know why people would neglect this album, but this album's actually great. Standout track for me on this album, "God Save the Queen." There's some other, basically the whole album's great, right? You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you're getting yourself into with Motorhead, right? You're getting kind of that dirty, grimy, raw speed metal, right? And then Lemmy's kind of raw, kind of vocal, right? But slow dance. Stay out of jail, out to lunch, wake the dead one more fucking time, crash and burn. But my standout track for this album, I can just see right off the bat here, is "God Save the Queen." Definitely must listen. But yeah, Motorhead,
nice.
We Are Motorhead.
That was my introduction to Motorhead.
Oh, wow, cool. Actually,
nice.
I saw Motorhead in 2004, so they wouldn't have been touring on that album. They would have been touring on, I forget what album would have came out in 2004 then. But would it have been Bastards? I think Bastards came out. Anyway, I don't remember. I saw Motorhead in 2004, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, Clint, you're next.
All right. I'm going to say Dying Fetus. Oh, hold on. My brain just went.
Oh, I have that. I want to pull it.
Destroy the opposal. Or the opponent, I mean. Destroy the Dying Fetus. If you know Dying Fetus, this was still, I think this was their, second album or third. And it's a really good album. It's solid. It's fast. It's aggressive. If you know anything by Dying Fetus, it's a good. What you're getting into.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have Stop at Nothing, which is 2003, and then, I have Killing on Adrenaline and Purification. I guess I don't have the one that actually came out in 2000.
Yeah, what I was saying about Annihilation earlier, if you like Dying Fetus, I think you really like Annihilation.
Dying Fetus is probably the most brutal, technical that I would go. Dying Fetus and Belphegor.
But I think you'd like Annihilation because they have a little more thrash to their music.
Yeah.
We all know how much you like thrash metal, gaming.
Yeah, well, I got one in my hand right now, but that's a thrash.
I'll save that for the next one because I'm surprised nobody's mentioned it yet. Unless you want me to go ahead and say it.
All right. Yeah, it's my turn. I got one. This is yet another concept album. Part of that. You might know this band. This is the third album in their first saga, Dawn of Victory, from Rhapsody/Rhapsody of Fire. My personal favorite album from them. Just you kick off with the freaking title track, freaking fantastic. I like the Village of Dwarves song. That's a pretty cool folky type song. But Jamie?
Yes, I'm seeing on the chat there that John Ice Earth Fan wants to join. So if you want to send him a link.
Oh, I didn't realize he's wanting to join. All righty then. Let me send him a link, or maybe I could just add him and he can join that. I can join him.
And then while you're busy with that, I'm gonna reply to Thrasher Be Thrasher Frederick. Is Saxon doesn't have any albums from 2000, as far as I know. The Killing Ground is 2001, and Metalhead was 1999. So I don't think Saxon had any albums in 2000, unless Metalhead was considered 2000. But my Metalhead said 1999 on the back. So I was Ryan. I was just replying to Frederick Thrasher.
He did.
Saxon didn't, as far as I know, Saxon didn't have any albums in 2000 because The Killing Ground was 2001 and Metalhead was 1999.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back to my point, Dawn of Victory, probably my favorite when it comes to Rhapsody, the third album in that Emerald Sword saga there.
What's going on?
I don't know, when you came back, your earbuds are really scratchy or something.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, it's all like digital crackling. Oh. Okay. Maybe he'll just leave.
I guess if John's gonna join, that means we're gonna hear about these demons and wizards for like 3 hours.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, he missed the demons and wizards. Well, we can go back to it.
All right, we got John in here now. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, we got John. We got John here. What's up, dude?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, John, I mentioned demons and wizards earlier, so.
You missed. 2000 was a good year for metal.
Yeah, it's really great. We're still getting. I've only checked off several albums off of this list, and I'm surprised some other people. There's some obvious ones that I'm surprised no one else has mentioned. Yeah, I'm mentioning Dawn of Victory. So, Clint, surely you got one from this list I got here that you got.
Maybe.
Surely.
Nevermore.
I mean, is it my turn again, or what? Or is it?
Yeah, we did Nevermore.
Yeah, we did do Nevermore, John.
We did Nevermore just recently, but yeah, put it out there for the Dead World. John, is that your favorite Nevermore album, or?
He's getting situated.
Right.
But yeah, J-Dub, you got Shirley. What's your next one you got?
Okay, probably this day and age, probably one of my more favorite bands. But the Great Overkill put out Bloodletting in 2000. Freaking incredible album. Love this album. Actually, is to not even talk about the classic Overkill, all the 80s Overkills. I actually love a lot of the middle era Overkills, like Bloodletting, Killing Kind, Relics IV, Immortalis, and yeah, I love a lot of like the mid-era Overkill. So this definitely falls in line with those middle-era Overkill. Bloodletting, sounds great. Starts off with a banger, Thunderhead. Then we got What I'm Missing. Death Comes Out to Play. That song's incredible. Let It Burn. I Hurricane. My Name is Pain. But I think my favorite track off the album is Death Comes Out to Play.
All right.
Nice.
All right, y'all ready for this one?
Surely it's gonna be one.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this. Is Deftones White Pony?
Oh yeah, I got that.
White Pony.
Yeah, I got that here.
I don't have it on my list again. That's White Pony.
Okay.
The Cocaine album. The album about cocaine and cocaine accessories. Is that what the White Pony, is?
I guess Maynard James Keenan can come up again in this conversation with the incredible Passenger song.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. But yeah, Maynard James Keener was in Passenger, and yeah, I already told the story, but I'm pretty sure Maynard James Keener just waltzed into the studio and kind of just randomly was singing his part. They kind of made a song around it. It was all just kind of happened very fast from what I recall or from what I heard. Yeah, White Pony, great album. I actually recently did a Deftones ranking. Well, not recently, probably 3 months ago now, but I did a Deftones ranking on my channel, and I think like if I were to do a Deftones ranking 3 years ago, I had it higher. But when I recently redid it, I dropped White Pony down. I didn't enjoy it as much. I kind of thought it sounded a little dated.
Yeah.
I kind of thought White Pony sounds a little dated. It's still a great album. You know, once you play it, you're going to get into it regardless. But I just thought when I was kind of skimming through it for my ranking, just to see how it all shaked out, I was like, I don't know, the sound, everything kind of sounds a little dated, but
It's
still
Yeah.
great.
I mean, it ain't one of my favorite albums. I know a lot of people talk about it in regard, put it in the high regard. But I mean, it ain't one of my favorites either.
And I'll just reply to Frederick.
Yeah, what would that have been? What would that have been? God Hates Us All? That wouldn't be till 01.
Yeah, it's 2001. I was going to say.
Yeah, there isn't a Slayer album in 2000.
Frederick's got 0 for 2. He's saying Saxon, Slayer, they didn't put out any albums in 2000.
Yeah, they didn't put in. Yeah, no, they didn't.
Frederick, it sounds like you need to get on your computer and look up stuff, Frederick. I love you,
Yes.
bro. But
All right, John. What you got anything?
Macabre, Dahmercy.
Is that from 2000? Is that from 2000? I never.
McKinsey?
Voivod?
Voivod have anything from 2000? I don't know. Caters was 2003. I think Caters was 2003.
Then there's Bloodbath.
Oh!
Yeah, the Bloodbath album. That's the one, with Michael and Dan Swano. Isn't that from 2000? It's got to be 2000.
It is 2000.
Huh? Oh, sweet. Nice, yeah.
What, the Nightmares
Yeah,
Made
I got
Flesh?
a few.
Nightmares Made Flesh.
And then there's
Yeah.
Made Flesh was before Michael was actually in the band, though.
After Forever.
Oh, we're naming one at a time.
After Forever was awesome. That was pre Epica, the guy from Epica that was in that. I would love to get some After Forever. Very hard to get.
No, After Forever is actually Floor from Nightwish.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, the guitarist from Epica was in there too, wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the singer. I thought you were
Yeah, there was Floor Jansen and Mark Jansen, their brother and sister.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Hold up, but Wicca.
What?
Yeah, Wicca list.
Yeah, I got paper right here with a list of I got a list of albums on this list. But yeah, I don't know. I get several on here. I'm surprised none of y'all have checked some of these off. You checked some of these off. I've seen you checked off Stiff Upper Lip, Clayman, whatever, House of Atreus Act 2, Reinventing the Steel. But here's one. Okay, I'm surprised that no one has mentioned this top death metal album, Morbid Angel, Gateways to Annihilation.
That was my next pick.
Come on!
That was my next pick.
That was before they went downhill. What I think would have been next, Heretic, and then we all know Illud Divinum Incenus, which is Latin for dumpster fire. But I mean, come on, Clint, if you want to talk about Gateways to Annihilation, go for it. You know, I'm mentioning it because I'm surprised nobody has mentioned that.
You know who they have listed on Wicca as metal? It came out in 2000. Voice says fire.
Voice says fire. It's kind of like pop punk.
Mm. Clint, you there?
Yeah.
Uh,
Give me one
Okay,
second.
talk about freaking Gateway to Annihilation from Morbid Angel. I mean, come on.
I'm not super familiar with it.
It, to me, that album was the last really, really solid Morbid Angel. They had some other stuff that was good, but man, that album just, yeah, that's a death metal pinnacle album. Like, if you listen to death metal, that's like one of the great anthems. That, you know,
Yeah.
it's brutal. It don't let go. You put it in and guarantee the headbang at least 666 times at least.
Ha! Yeah.
You guys are gonna think
Yeah.
it's strange, but still, my favorite Morbid Angel is the very first Morbid Angel like demo that they threw away, and then they re-released it a couple of years later. But the Abominations of Desolation, that's still my favorite Morbid Angel, the very first one.
Okay. Yeah, I just figured I'd mention that because I know Clint was at some point. So why not let him talk about it? Yeah, Frederick, we talked about Alfred Resurrection.
Oh,
That
yes,
came out. Yeah, we mentioned that. Finding out that Bruce Dickinson's on it. Yeah, I'm getting that. All right, J-Dub, your turn.
2000.
Yeah, we showed the Alfred Resurrection. There you did that one. Okay, I got a bunch of extreme metal. I haven't even gone to my extreme metal really, but I'll do a classic rocker here. But you guys wouldn't, well, you'd be surprised. But Alice Cooper, Brutal Planet came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Alice
I was
Cooper,
thinking about putting that on here, but I didn't.
Yeah, Alice Cooper's foray into industrial metal, where it's kind of like this industrial metal kind of sound and vibe going on here. So, yeah, cool stuff. Brutal Planet, Blow Me a Kiss is cool. Gimme, 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 Take It Like a Woman. So, some cool songs, some cool soundtracks. I actually saw Alice Cooper on, well, I guess it wasn't on this tour, it was right before in 1999, although I think Brutal Planet had came out as a single at that time. I was a little kid, so not 100% sure, but I did see Alice Cooper in 1999 right around that album.
How
So that's
old were you during that time, Jamie?
You guys about what? Yo,
I don't know, Frederick. Did Hammer fall?
Boo, we don't want no Hammerfall. I'm just kidding.
Surely their album came out in 2000, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised some of those are. Yeah, but yeah, Clint. Like I said, you talked about gateways, so I'll let So let's let John. What other albums you got, John? So you can think of. Oh, who?
10 Witches.
Yeah, I don't have them on the list.
It's called their debut was called City of Lost Souls.
Never heard of them.
Yes, we mentioned that. Frederick, continue.
Look them up, Ryan. You'll like them.
All right, well, sure, someone could look them up. Frederick, if you could, what it was, 7 Witches?
Oh, 7 Witches is so good.
Clint knows. Clint knows.
Kind of thrashy power metal.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of symphonic. They're definitely an interesting listen.
All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, okay, well, I'm going to look through what I got on this paper, that I got on this list. I got one. It's a cool one. We're gonna get. I think I'll get the blast, kind of your new metal style. Infest from Papa Roach. All I can say is, cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Yeah,
Enough freaking said.
great. You know, this is much like Hybrid Theory, where it's undeniable, where
Yeah.
you not trash about new metal, but you put it on, it's just so catchy. It's so it's just so catchy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that one's one I knew from the start because of Last Resort. I mean, come on, that's their big hit.
Then we got the emotional Broken Home, Dead Cell. Dead Cell's great, right? Blood Brothers, Never Enough, Thrown Away. Great album. Cool album. I actually saw Papa Roach right at this album. They opened for Korn. It was Korn, Papa Roach, and Powerman 5000.
Cool.
And it was funny because, Last Resort was just coming out. Like, they weren't even big yet. It was just coming out. Like, I think I heard it like a week before I went to the Korn concert. So, like, nobody knew who Papa Roach was at the time, really. Like, they were just blowing up right at that same time. But, yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I knew I had to mention that one because that's probably, as far as I'm concerned on here, probably the last thing I got that's freaking, new metal. So, change up.
I got 3 more new metal ones. I'll get to that maybe later. But this one's going to be for Clint. I don't know if his audio's here, his video froze anyway.
Oh, who's that?
Okay, I got one here for Clint. Okay, I'm surprised you never mentioned this one, but Cataclysm, the Poetry of War.
Nice.
I kind of getting that
And I got the booklet, obviously. I have the CD, obviously, but it actually comes in a double disc here, the old school double disc fat book. So it has the 2 albums that released back to back, 1999 and 2000. But both these albums are good.
I got that.
Pummeling, just nice, incredible pummeling, groovy death metal. So great stuff from Cataclysm here in 1999 and 2000. So yeah, good stuff.
And that one, I know I haven't listened to it all that much, but it is one of Marquez took over vocals instead of playing bass, ain't it?
When he switched over from doing the bass. When he switched over from doing vocals.
Yeah.
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 And these albums are awesome. I think I do actually like Prophecy a bit more, but Epic is still great too.
Yeah. This was formed in 2000.
I'm surprised I never got that one. So.
Yeah. All right, Clint. You're next.
All right, I am surprised none of y'all have mentioned this one. Are y'all ready? Children of Bodom Follow the Reaper.
Finally, someone got one off the list! Finally!
Children of
Bodom on the list! Finally!
Hey, wait a minute. What Children of Bodom?
Follow the Reaper.
Follow the Reaper is not 2000?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is on the list. I put it wouldn't be on my list for a reason. It is 2000.
I thought it was 1999.
Nope. It's 2000, Jamie.
No,
it's 2000.
Well, my CD says 2001, but...
Nope, it's 2000.
Because Hatebreeder...
It might have came out. It might have come out. It might be one of the cases where it came out at a later date or something like that, like yours. And then everywhere else it was coming out the date of 2000. So it's technically a 2000 album.
October.
Do what?
That Children of Bodom, Follow the Reaper.
What?
October 30th.
It came out on October 30th, 2000. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a late release in 2000. But yeah, it's a 2000 album.
Oh, well,
So good.
flew over my head, I guess, because I thought it was 2000 because I thought Hate Breeders 1999. I thought Fall of the Reapers 2001.
You know, I know it came out. It came out also in in 2000. Also, they listed as a metal CD. Haven.
Heathen, yes.
With their CD, Jupiter.
Heathen?
Yeah.
Like Haven became a punk band, right?
But yeah, that Children of Bodom is great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to, we got one last round, and then we probably might need to wrap this up. So I'm going to mention, there's going to be one I'm going to mention here because I do know a little bit about this one, but then I got a few that I'm just going to rattle them off if anybody wants to mention them on here. I got Blaze Bailey, Silicon Messiah.
That was a good CD.
I'm surprised no one even mentioned this one. Electric Wizard Dope Throne came out in 2000. What else is there?
I don't really care for Electric Wizard too much. I got some extreme metal. Want me to go through my extreme metal?
I got my last. I got at least three more I should mention here. Symphony XB, the new Mythology Suite.
That was gonna be my next thing I was gonna mention.
Yeah, y'all can go ahead if y'all want to mention those. Black Label Society, Stronger Than Death. And then finally, the last thing I got on here, Devin Townsend, Physicist.
I was going to mention Black Label at some point.
Yeah, y'all go on ahead, and if y'all want to mention any of these that I just mentioned, or before we end this, so go on ahead. I'll be right back.
Not my favorite DLS. It's still DLS, so we'll get it on then.
Manson Hollywood came out that year too.
Yes, I was going to bring that up at some point too. So yeah, that's great. Been great, Manson Hollywood, and this is probably my second favorite Marilyn Manson CD for sure. Antichrist is obviously going to be number one, but Hollywood. This is actually, and this is Marilyn Manson's his own favorite album he ever recorded.
You know what's about that CD also? When a little boy was dying of cancer, he let the kid go and sing on the chorus with it on the CD. His dying last wish.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember reading
the chorus. You get a little kid that was singing with everyone. He's dead now.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember reading an interview where Marilyn Manson ranked his albums that he recorded himself, and he said Hollywood till to this day is his personal favorite album.
It was perfect.
Yeah, another album that was great that came out in the year 2000 is Exhumed, Slaughter and Roll.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm not super familiar with that.
Death metal.
Okay, I got.
Do you like Exhumed? Do you like Exhumed, Jamie?
No, I like Exhumer.
No, not Exhumer. Exhumed.
No, I'm not super familiar with it. I'm just gonna assume it's like brutal death metal.
No, they look like they'd be really brutal, but they're really, really thrashy, and the vocals are more thrashy. The vocals are more like kind of like death.
Oh, okay. Oh, like a snarl. I like that snarl.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then there's like lows every now and then.
That's cool. So, yeah, okay. I got some extreme metal in my hand that I'll zip through really quick here, but we got some satanic death metal OGs, Deicide and Incineratum. I actually have a tattoo of this, so people actually don't realize that actually says 666 in a circle.
Yeah,
666. It's 666,
Yeah,
and
everybody knows that, Jamie.
I have a tattoo of this.
John has a tattoo too.
They're right there. I actually have a tattoo of it.
Nice.
John has a tattoo too. Right, John, you got a tattoo under your beard, right?
Did you really?
I wish I can get a tattoo. I can't.
No, I was going to say, that'd be cool to have a tattoo. But,
I had that
you know,
on my butt cheek.
Actually, the album after this is great. In Torment in Hell. Fuck, that album's awesome. Anyway, there's the iconic Bible Basher on this. So you can't go wrong with the Bible Basher song. Fuck, that's great. Hail of Worship, Suffer Again, Worst Enemy. Good songs on here. Immortals Damned in Black, my favorite Immortal album. The uber thrashy Blackened Immortal, my favorite Immortal. We did an Immortal show, so I'm not going to go into depth about that.
I remember you and me both loved that album a lot.
Oh, that was
Yeah, we
that was your favorite too. That was your favorite too. Yeah,
that was the one we both picked as number one.
that's our favorite Immortal album. Love that album. Awesome stuff
Yeah.
here. Wrath from Above, Against the Tide, My Dimension, Damned in Black. Woo-hoo. I'm not a big fan of this. I picked this up at a pawn shop way back in 2000 or 2001 or something like that. But we got Cryptopsies and Then You'll Beg. Not a big fan, but it's just a little too fast for me. A little too fast technical, but still decent. We got Destroyer 666, Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Just got that CD.
This is my favorite Destroyer 666, hands down. There's no even debate about this. The song "I Am the War God." Oh my God, does that shit pump me up? I am the War God. Hell yeah! And we got a live album, Cannibal Corpse Live Cannibalism, came out in 2000.
Yep.
And this just solidified their greatest hits, basically. This is how I learned all of the Cannibal Corpse classic songs or me thinking what are classic Cannibal Corpse songs, because I'm like, if this is what they basically, if they played it live, this is what their greatest hits are at the time. But this is where I learned all the classics: Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, Stripped, Raped, and Strangled, I Come Blood, Fucked with a Knife, Unleashing the Bloodthirsty, Gallery of Suicide, Meat Hook Sodomy, Gutted, I Will Kill You, Devoured by Vermin, A Skull Full of Maggots, Hammer Smash Face. Just killers. Recorded live in Milwaukee, 2000. And
Damn.
just incredible artwork here. Absolutely phenomenal artwork. This has got to be one of the best artworks of all time, I think. For me, anyway. This is one of my most favorites. Thrasher Be Thrashed wants to do a show here at the end of the month. Good album art, sucky album art, and your favorite album art. I think I'm going to bring this to the party as being one of the coolest album arts. Well, I guess I only have 2 new metals. You mentioned all the new metal, but 2 new metals we didn't mention was Godsmack Awake.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a great heavy hit, great album, great drumming, nice upbeat song. Won't go into that. And Kitty's first album, Spit. Yeah, Kitty's first album, Spit.
Nice.
Yep.
So I'm referencing Canada there. And not new metal, but more of metalcore. I guess this brought in the metalcore wave. 2000.
Shadows Fall. The first one with Brian Fair.
I would consider this the first Shadows Fall, really. But Of One Blood, 2000. I just listened to this yesterday. Fucking forgot how much I love that album. And yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to go. I got 5 more. I'll power through on the next round, then we can be done. But if somebody else wants to go next.
Yeah, Clint.
Y'all pretty much
You got it.
everything I got.
All right, show. Okay, mention them if you want to, but then we might,
Keep going.
so we can maybe wrap this up. But yeah, nice having you here, Frederick.
Okay, yes, yeah, Frederick. Okay, cool. This album's incredible. Venom Resurrection from 2000. Yeah, this album's just the production, the mix, like the riff tone, and people may have fell out of touch with Venom, like with the classic lineup, and there was a bunch of lineup changes in the 90s, and people weren't sure what the hell was going on with Venom, but they actually, Mantis and Kronos reunited on this album, so this is Kronos and Mantis, so you just say these two guys are together making an album, this is a fucking good album. So Resurrection,
Yep.
don't flip on this is overlooked, don't be slipping on that. That's Kronos and Mantis, they ain't screwing around. Mantis always has those killer ass heavy riffs.
Yeah.
And Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force, The War Kind of Wars, great album. I love this album. With Mark Bowles on vocals. Mark Bowles was in a million bands. I couldn't even get into all that stuff. One of my, maybe not like talent-wise, he's not talently the best singer of all time, but he's one of my more favorite singers just because he has a fun-natured approach about his singing. But we got John Bush with Armored Saints, Revelation.
Yes.
I love this album. This is actually one of my more favorite Armored Saints, besides the 80s ones, of course. But this album, if I were to recommend any Armored Saint other than the 80s ones, this would be the one I recommend. This album's really heavy. A lot of great standout tracks. Pay Dirt, After Me the Flood, Tension, Creepy Feelings, Control Issues. So, yeah, some great standout tracks. What else do we got? Actually, Adoro came out in 2000, Calling the Wild.
Damn.
Here, Kiss Me Like a Cobra, Give Me a Reason, Scarred, I Want to Live, Love Me Forever, Black Rose. Cool songs. I'll say, here's a couple ones. I actually don't have the cover. I don't know where it is. I lost it, but it's Monster Magnets, God Says No.
Yeah.
Says No. This album's pretty decent. Standard for Monster Magnet at this point. There's some great Heads Explode, Medicine, God Says No. All that's really standing out to me right now.
I'm sorry. 1 Minute of Silence. 1 Minute of Silence. Buy now, save later.
Are you talking about songs?
1 Minute of Silence.
Oh, 1 Minute Silence. Oh, right, yeah. I have one. Oh, yeah, that would have been their second album then. Yeah, right, good call.
I wish they got reissue because all the B-sides added. All 3 other CDs.
Yeah, that album, 1 Minute Silence is interesting because they're like a hardcore version of like new metal. Yeah, like a hardcore version of Rage Against the Machine where it's like, if you always imagine them to be heavier and way more aggressive, that is 1 Minute Silence.
Cool.
I got Nashville Push High as Hell from 2000. I believe it's 2000. Yeah, 2000. High as Hell. Nashville Pussy. Actually seen these guys live, but no frills, straight up rock and roll, dirty rock and roll band. A lot of party type things like that. Like kind of try to get a rise out of you. Not like comedy, but that sort of style. Strutting cock, She's Got Drugs, Piece of Ash, High as Hell, Go to Hell.
It's pretty much
Blowjob from a Rattlesnake.
Yeah. My sister's listening to them. I like Sister Carol. You can go.
But
John,
forget her
don't
name.
try that at home, okay, John? Don't try getting a blowjob from a rattlesnake, okay, John?
These guys are the real deal. These guys actually go on stage with a bottle of Jack and they fucking drink it during their set. They live it. I seen these guys right before COVID shut down, like 2019, and yeah, they still bring the bottle of Jack on stage. They take shots during the show. they live it. They ain't just singing it. They live it. I guess when Motorhead took them on tour and Lemmy taught them well. And
Yeah, man.
my very last one, we got Twisted Sisters frontman. You guys all know.
Dee Snider.
Never let the bastards wear you down. Yeah, great album. It's kind of like a. It's not like super metal or nothing like that. It's like hard rock. Hard rock. There's some cool songs in here. Our Voice Will Be Heard is great. The Wanderer, Desperado, Hardcore, the opening track. Call My Name's great. I think Call My Name is probably the best song with that. But yeah, definitely. Actually, this is a great album. Check this out. If anyone's not ever heard this is great. It's very overlooked.
All right, nice. All right, do any of y'all, Clint, John, you got anything before we end this? Any albums to mention?
Not really.
All right. All righty then. Well, that's pretty much going to conclude this for albums released in 2000. We want to thank Frederick. Connor came in here, well, albeit briefly. We had Karen come in here. Karen coming here early on. To those who have showed up and those who really haven't mentioned in the talk, thank you for showing up. To those who have showed up, thank you to J-Dub, Clint, and John for coming on board, and Mean Metal Mike, obviously, too.
Yeah, and I was going to say before you take it away there, I was going to say this kind of all started as kind of like a joke when we saw that Ryan was about to hit 200, and so I was kind of vaguely joking, say, hey, you hit 200. Let's do 2,000 albums for your 2,200.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned to him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that's it kind of sounds all cool." And then so that's why we're doing this 200 for his 200 subscribers. So
definitely, yeah. All because we reached 200. I thought it sounds like a pretty cool idea, so why not? So yeah, and because I've been wanting to get into doing streaming again, but this was a pretty cool way of saying to those, because I know John was a part of it when he was over with me and Ben, and we were doing kind of the celebration over there. I don't know if you came in on here yesterday for my 200 subscriber celebration. Oh yeah, you did join. Clint and John did join me in my 200 subscriber celebration live stream. It was J-Dub and Mean Metal Mike. They weren't here, but Karen was. I think Frederick was in the chat and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all of this happened because we reached 200, obviously. So to everybody who has subscribed to this channel, to Damage Incorporated, thank you. Thank you very much to everybody who I've been friends with. This wouldn't really be possible and all that stuff. So yeah. Other than that, thank y'all for watching. This has been our episode 13 for the Damage Incorporated show, where we were just talking albums released in the year 2000. If y'all enjoyed this, click the like button or the dislike, whatever floats your boat. Comment below where your thoughts are on all these albums, and of course, to maybe kick off to get into on the road to maybe getting 300, maybe. Click that subscribe button. It always helps. We want to get more, But
Well, for 300, we're definitely not going to be able to do albums of year 3000.
Not even possible. Possible. We'll figure something out for 3 if we do get to 300. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. This has been episode 13 of the Damage Incorporated show. Albums released in the year 2000. We will see y'all later, and as always, keep things metal.